Wednesday Night Talk. Tonight we are very glad to receive Aleksandrs of Alfa Studios, one of the main studios in sound filmmaking in Latvia. This conversation is about trying to understand in a better way how we make the sound of a film, and this is not the only thing that is done in these studios that are a reference for Latvian sound. And to start, I would be curious to know a couple of things about you, because I suppose maybe you didn't start directly to do sound for movies.
At first, thank you for getting me. Having, thanks.
Ar prieku.
Yeah. Of course, it's a long story about my journey through movie sound, and it's quite often I'm coming from musicians, and those times in 19th in Latvia, it was just not possibilities to studying of sound design and of course of movie sound as such thing. So I choose just practical approach, practical way to knowledge in myself, and just through years it's more take and more just more time than studying somewhere, but I feel it's kind of more strong and deeply inside this kind of knowledge if you use practical approach.
You were working on some of the biggest movie in Latvia. We're going to talk about this matter of scales in a minute. So you were working on Omonovus.
Yes, Omonovus. Veseli Putins, Blizzards of Souls.
Blizzards of Souls. Magic Kimono, which was a co-production between Latvia and Japan. Very interesting story. What were the most difficult things to achieve, to do? Yeah.
For me, each movie, it's really kind of next child, what I need to take care, and laid out to world. It's really kind of that approach. It's not a job, so someone need to hear something when seeing something. No, it's really kind of, we need to build up connection with picture and create whole world behind this picture, fully connected to picture and to director wishes. On each movie, I can use different approaches, absolutely different thoughts about it, and it's kind of, for example, one movie can give me a lot of pain for cleaning production sound from set. And it's kind of absolutely disturb all my creativity, because I need to spend a lot of time just to clean it and figure out how we can deal with it. Because it's, as you know, dialogues is a main thing on movies. It's most important layer in soundscape of movie, and it means we need to take care mostly about dialogues, all going through verbal connection with viewers. Only the music and sound effects and such things. So sometimes it's really because of that issue, just concentration of to succeed as much as possible from production sound.
Being a small team is a kind of strength, because you have a more direct connection with the director of a movie, and maybe as Latvia is a small country, also you may know all the team or production team in sound, how they work, and so on and so forth.
Yes, for sure. It's some gains we get it from this situation, because it's a big difference with how we make this movie sound in Latvia. It's really just only few people's involved, but mainly whole pressure just on one person's shoulders, mostly. If we're talking about really pressure, all decisions and such things, It's only about one person involved. It means all the editings and some decisions and kind of whole sound supervising. It's kind of on shoulders of one person. Of course, we're talking about big productions. They're just working, should be involved 15, 20 persons or even more. It's about your budget of this movie. So, yeah, we have a closer connection. Yes, short answer to your question. Yes, we have very short connection to director.
Yes, you told me that you were also working in Czechia. Why do you go there? It's for production outside of Latvia. It's for mastering. What is the goal?
I mostly go into Prague and Czech only for mixing purposes, and it's kind of my personal point of view, just to succeed best results. Because as you see, we have in my studio as well 5.1 set of speakers, so in some very low budget movies as well, just can make it easily here. But as we know, it's kind of slightly different approach if you want really to succeed, just best results. It should be done in very kind of special environments. I mean, dubbing stage. It's called dubbing stage, but it means mixing stage of movie sounds. It's really looks like cinema, whatever. It's a small cinema or big one. It's with some very special requirements. I mean, it's obligated to be a big screen and speakers will be behind of screen. It's just obligated. It's in such a thing. You need to work mixing sound of movie really kind of in cinema for absolutely perfect perception like cinema viewers.
Okay.
It's working for color grading in nowadays as well in such a way. They sit in as well in cinemas, in color grading movies only on screen. It's not kind of not good taste to make it in some monitors and displays.
So same point of view as the spectator in the theater, if I understand.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And it's connected on what is differences, why we need it, because it's absolutely, and it's a good news. It's about cinemas allow us to achieve great dynamic range, just great, full potential, of great dynamic sound. So, and in the best way to achieve it, you just mix in cinema.
Okay.
Already everyone know it, and just go in, make it in this way. Otherwise, make it in smaller studios. It's kind of compromise. It's about budget and such a thing.
So you were talking about dubbing. Does it mean, but this is maybe another thing, that all the speeches, the voices of the actors are remade in post-production? This is something that is made by big studios.
No. It just studios were making this mixing of sound. Just call it dubbing stage. It's how it's called.
Okay.
It's I think it's coming from old days where you really dub in movie as well on front of big screen, such a thing.
Okay.
I hope I'm right. As I remember, you can check it already.
Yeah. In Latvia, when you work on a movie, all the voices are recording during the scene, or is there post-production for re-record things?
It depends, because it's called ADR, automatic dialogue replacement. It really depends. Mostly ADR used, of course, for some correction of technical issues from production sound, if something not going well on location. But no, every time. It's as well, for some specific movies, it should be as well just director decision. He can change line it's really kind of sound preparation on can really change movie if you wish it, totally in opposite direction. Just it's just power of sound, or it's a power of not power. It's just how working just human perception. I mean acoustical perception and such a things. We really can play this game and just make absolutely different movie only just to using different sound. So it's all about director point of view of director. And yes, because I'm just have experience, we just using ADR for totally changing lines and just change meaning of scene. We can do it
because he realized that finally when he see this on screen, he see this as a finished product. Maybe something needs to be changed. It's,
yes.
Yes.
And because of in sound stage, I mean in production of sound, a lot of things will be fixed. Really. I mean, in a point of view of director,
Do you often add some sounds that are not recorded on set? I would take an example. For example, as some special effects taking from outside. Maybe you had a sound of the sea or some urban background sound that is coming from that was recording quite separately. How much of this do you do in post-production?
You somehow mentioned it. Absolutely perfect example.
Yeah.
When it's kind of not, you can use some kind of sound, and it means, for example, sea, because some kind of sound of seashore. If you just try to exactly in some kind of on set try to record it, usually just don't sound great
because of this white noise.
It's kind of you need to be very passionate and take time to find proper way how to make it. In any way, it's kind of later need to be kind of sound design approaches to sound it properly. I mean, if for example, in visual world, for example, you can't. It's not possible to shoot stars on night sky. It's just not possible. So you can make it only artificially. And it means in sound world, exactly sound of sea, of seashore, whatever, just sea. It's really, if you just directly record it, it's really, like you mentioned it, it's kind of just white noise.
This is physical.
Yes, so you need to kind of involve different approach to listeners to feel it's a sea.
Okay.
So I mainly foresee you just using kind of sound libraries. It's already this job is done. So it's really not so easy.
For what other sound do you have? Do you use sound library, external sound library, except the sea?
I have it's a kind of one famous one, Sound Ideas. It's a main kind of basic. But you need to be very careful with using this stuff because, but it's kind of you're grown up as well. With each movie, anyway, I try to use as much as possible less sound libraries only for supportive roles, and try to gain best results with production sound. And usually, just if I'm not happy, I'm just put my sound recorder and go in just outside and record by myself some things, because it's a way better than sound libraries, because it's connected to some place or some environments. It's connected to country and such as things.
But I imagine, I have never done this kind of work, but how is it to put the sound of a sea on a shot with the waves arriving? You synchronize wave by wave?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You do this? Okay.
Yes. It depends if it's close up and if these moves of seashore are important to us. Yes, it's kind of synchronization. But it should work in opposite way. For example, if in front you have a very important, very intimate conversation, dialogues, you need to make proper decision. Because, if you have perfectly synchronized C sounds, it's kind of can, disturb your dialogue. So in this way, you need to properly choose approach of sound of C.
Okay.
It means to not to be disruptive, to be all the time in background, and it's definitely not about level of sound. It's not about how loud sound of C. No, because if you have visual connection, yes, all the time you feel
that's
sure.
Yeah, that's cognitive.
It's yes. It's only totally about your perception. Yes.
Okay.
It means it may be helpful, but it may work in opposite way. It's all it's all about decisions during working on sound
And some intuition also.
Exactly. It's all the time a lot of decisions, and it's really if you ask me how to describe, just in basic globally, what is it? Just sound of movie. For me, it's absolutely comparable with just one big, beautiful symphony. It's absolutely have a lot of job for string section, percussion section. I mean, each group working and perfect time, don't disturb other groups, and and make some kind of harmony. And if a movie make it beautifully with such approach, you definitely feel it, and this movie is immediately just awarded for sound, and you just immediately feel it. It's there. This beauty of sound. It should be. You just feel it immediately.
We have to consider movie as a whole, and sometimes do you have to go back on a specific scene because you feel like inside the movie it doesn't match with other scene, it's too different from one scene to another?
Oh yeah, it's a main thing. You all the time need to keep it in a whole. And mainly, it's very similar to editors. For example, when they just stuck in some scenes, it's absolutely the same approach in sound production as well. Stuck within some scene and try to to polish it and succeed as much as possible. And you can make some absolutely opposite decision when you see in movie whole.
For a movie, is there some sort of sound mastering?
Yes, some kind of mastering involved when you use Dolby technologies. It means when your studio is certified by Dolby laboratory, just special Dolby guy provided, come into your studio to check. And all days it was kind of special equipment, and all clients need to leave studio, don't see what's going on there. It was kept in secret.
So they made a calibration of your studio, something? Yeah.
No. We go in all days as well in Prague, and they have this certified just studio. Yes, and after us, when movie sound is finished, the special guy from Dolby laboratory coming in. And do something.
He's the only
and
one.
We don't see what's going on there.
Okay, he's the only one that can do it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very specially approved. It's just from Dolby.
Okay.
It's specially Dolby guy.
Okay. I did absolutely have no clue about this. You see, we are learning. During the production of a movie, I suppose, indeed, you make sound, but there are people doing edition, there are people doing color grading at the same time. how do you work technically? I mean, are the files on a cloud and everybody is making some share the files instantly? How does this work? Or is it after edition and color grading on May you make the sound? What comes first?
Yes, we have kind of rules from old times. Picture will be already locked. Only then will be involved.
Okay.
And sound production, because it's a more productive way to achieve something. So time to time, some try to break these rules. It's modern times, yes, but anyway, it should be done in this way. Color grading, it depends if it's just some specific movie, when some visual effects is just very important and kind of make of sense of feeling of scenes. Yes, it should be done before, but usually it's kind of we're working in parallel. Color grading will be done a little bit, yes, maybe after sound as well, or slightly before we start mixing.
And sometimes you become crazy because edition change at the last moment.
Sometimes, happily, it's almost connected to star titles, and end credits. It's main thing through years. End credits always somehow prepared really in last moment. It's kind of understandable because it's a huge amount of people. Producer need to collect them. It's really kind of last minute job. But we're not allowed to make, to mix in movie sound without having this and titles. It's just strict. You can't.
So I have some sort of controversial question about how much you depend of sound calibration and settings inside theaters, because in France, when TNT was released, for example, people were complaining that the sound was too loud. In Latvia, it occurred as well, and projectionists said if we lower the sound, we cannot hear the speeches, the dialogues enough. So is it me, or is there sometimes problem of calibration of like level too loud on some big production? And because there were movies I could not stay inside the theater, so I would like to have your point of view about this.
I think it's a big problem absolutely around the world. And it depends. For example, it's already standardized and well known. For example, we don't mention it, but it's a very big difference between sound production for movie and, for example, just regular music. Sound production, it's a very big difference because working for movie, you kind of need to calibrate your monitors with some particular SPL levels, and whole production keep it. So you're not allowed to change loudness of your speakers. It's kind of calibrated and that's it. And it's very helpful. You just, because your perception immediately just calibrated as well. So all your decisions connected to loudness on this particular room, because you already know everything about loudness, about your monitors and such as things. So, and it's working perfectly. For years have this kind of loudness war, but it doesn't mean we fight with loud sound. Sometimes we fight with quiet sound as well. It's only because of just cinemas, how they organized, how proper professionals involved to keep equipment in such a things. Because if biggest multiplex in city have calibration and rechecking only twice per year, sorry, you're in trouble time to time.
Indeed.
I have a lot of issues on commercials movies when I just coming to see some great movie, and I have just abnormal experience, swiping channels, improper loudness, time to time something with pictures. Well, in old times when it was used proper, film projection as well, just DOP need to come before premiere and check which lamps they used, or they cheating and try, to use the old one, just for safe lamps, because it's very expensive stuff. And then nowadays we still have this kind of problem time to time. Sometimes we have problem with which type of projection we're using, laser ones or different ones, because it's more about taste of perception. Because some movies it's very sensual, fragile, when we really need to take care about picture and about sound. Sometimes some movies not. So we really go in before each premiere and check in particular, how, what's going on there, how loud, and we just tell them, yes, you need to use this one. But mainly because it's mixed in proper environments, they just need to keep proper loudness. It's already, standardized and, by rules and such a things. It's so easy.
But again, the small scale of Latvia is an advantage for you to, for example, to ensure that things are done properly. And,
personally, to check it.
Yeah, you see. And the second thing is you were mentioning screen, and I think one of the best advice we can give to people who want to train into sound is you need to have a reference for what you are doing, calibration, something that is reliable, or something very well, monitors, or it's true also for color grading, the color space, this kind of thing. Because you can make settings, and the settings are not the proper ones to achieve what you want to make, because you in fact you don't know what you are seeing or what you listen to. You need a reference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in this point of view, for me, for example, monitors is just main thing. It's just your second, not pair, but more than pair, just of your ears. It's really thing what connected directly to your ears, so your hearing perception. So need to take care about monitors, proper ones, about calibration of monitors and proper loudness. We're talking about production for movies, production for movies.
We were agreeing before we record that I believe that now people have precisely forgotten what should be the main goal of cinema and movies, which is to tell a story. This is one thing, but also that people want to achieve too much with 100 tracks and 200 plugins, and they forget to focus on the essential. And great albums or great movies have been made with very few gears, and there is always a part of bricolage inside.
Yes. If you really pro in a very good way, it's not about your knowledge, It's kind of about knowledge, but it's about how you use your knowledge mainly. You don't need, to spend your time for this kind of using a lot of equipment, a lot of your decisions and moves. If you really big pro, you make it more easily, more flawlessly. It take maybe less time. Anyway, my main idea, it's really connected to your knowledge, truly to your pure knowledge. I mean, it's not connected to your knowledge about, for example, magazines of equipment, of some thoughts of other people. No, it's only about you need to make proper decision to you. It's not connected to some learning stuff from something else. No, because it's kind of only first stage of your career. When you just suck in of stuff, you need to learn all stuff about equipment, about how it's make it, about physics of sound, and such a thing, and then at some point when you become really pro, you need to skip all this stuff and just working, and don't think about your instruments.
If you want to give an advice to a sound engineer that starts in the industry, you said you build some knowledge on tools, and then it becomes some kind of second nature and conscious, and you forget technique when you are just doing things. We were talking about that.
Maybe I'm surprising you, but I just really whole life using I always remember it and using one line from Charlie Parker, and it's for me it's working just perfectly. Master your instrument, master the whole music, and just forget all this bullshit and just playing. It's all, of course it's connected to your music, but for me it's working greatly as well. In my job perfectly. It's only about learn about your equipment. Just learn about how to use and where, to use this equipment and what's it about, and then just use both of these knowledges and just working, and that's it. And don't think about it.
Yeah,
it's working perfectly for me, at least.
But me as a sound engineer, I have a feeling that there are some tools I have, and I cannot upgrade, or I will lose completely my references. And there are some moments where you see that you hear about some new tools coming, that they manage to improve, and they are very efficient. And do you have moments in your career where you feel like you make this kind of upgrades, or?
I know it's yes, it's a kind of pain for a lot of sound engineers, some guys. For example, I as well kind of working a lot of years for some kind of almost old-fashioned, Pro Tools set, and then I just pushed to change to totally new set. But anyway, it's still connected to my previous line. You just a handyman, you have a tools in your beautiful bag, you just need to use them, because it's just industry all the time push you to change, update, and such a things. And I see a lot of people kind of against it and kind of resistance, because it's it's too obvious, all the time, to update computer. Yes.
There are practical machines, but
each plugin, in DAW, everything, it's just pain. We need just to work.
What we are saying also for people who start being sound engineers is, I feel like a compression will always be a compression, an EQ will always be an EQ, a reverb, how to use it. You have to learn this, because when you go on some forums, or some Facebook groups, on YouTube, it's like people, they want, already made recipes. How do I make this? How do I make that? But these are not the good questions, How do I make a sound voice better? But did you understand the principle of compression, the presence, the harmonics? I think you agree with that, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It should be just in your, all this knowledge will be just in your brains, and just how to use it. It's because I'm sure you see in forums as well, such as things. Forums become kind of, dumber. Time to time. I mean, people just in forums start to ask so childish questions, and it looks like totally not good. I mean, you know, it means they don't try even thinking to learn something.
Absolutely.
It's kind of new generation. They just figure out, I'm just immediately can get some answer in forum. It's not proper way to learn something, because it's some just personal story of someone who answer and responds to you. Of course, it's very kind. Someone immediately responds to you. It's very nice. But what you learn from this situation? Nothing. It's up to you. You need to spend time just to study. And it doesn't matter. You study in some university or studying on your home studio. It's studying in home studio. It's take longer time, I think.
Yeah.
No? Because it's a practical approach. You need to, to get some errors and gain. And
I think that there are some things about the physics, like the opposition of phases, this kind of things you need to understand, because I knew, 20 years ago, some very honest musicians that were doubling the bass in some mixes, and it was a mess, incredible. And then you explain to them, you make the graph of what is a sinusoid, what is a phase. Say, look, you see the problem. Even on a guitar, a humbucker is to avoid some noise in the background. Is based on this kind of principles, and people don't understand the physics.
You mean canceling phases?
Yeah, canceling phases. Yeah, absolutely. And too much is the opposite of good when it's about sound. And the best tool is to train our ears, indeed.
Yes. And as we know, all decisions make it by ears. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not about, some thoughts or something, or equipment, no.
Or a preset that will answer to all the problems.
And in this case, maybe you want to ask me this question, maybe not. For me, it's really kind of how I feel did I feel like pro, for example? This kind of strange question. No, I don't feel like a pro, when I'm whatever, it's a music production or sound production for a movie, main thing what we need to achieve, just emotional response from viewers. Viewers don't know about which equipment we use, how experienced we are, or how much we paid, It doesn't matter in cinemas. So you need just to achieve as much as possible, and that's it.
I remember, I have a good memory about cinema, a movie that matters for me at the beginning of the years 2000. It was The Lord of the Ring. And at the time, New Zealand was like the small country that was doing the big production. It brings a lot of jobs. And when you looked at the DVD of how the movie was made, from from cover to cover, and you were surprised how the kind of bricolage and things that they had to do. And I feel like professional is passionate and serious, hard-working amateurs who have succeeded, you see.
Of course.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. This is my feeling.
Passion.
Yeah,
Yes, what you need to do and it's my approach as well, 3 years. Passion. Because, it's kind of succeeding in great results. It's all the time you need to put out from comfort zone, all the time. It's not so so comfy just work. You all the time need to think differently.
Even without speaking necessarily of comfort zone, maybe this is just what you are as a person. You
maybe
also you don't know how to do things differently.
Maybe.
But precisely about passion and this commitment, I have a question that I ask to all of my guests. And as far as you can remember, what is your first memories when you were a child connected to sound or music?
Oh, it's quite easy. And a lot of people have absolutely similar experience. I'm just remember as I have in my, childhood house, just old tube radio, and it's it. And you as a child don't know anything about sound, but it's through years I remember this feeling of this kind of tube. It's very warm, it's very special. During years I really remember this feeling, and it was kind of for me very great connection to music. I have possibility to get some special radio station, very interesting, with some foreign music. In all times it was forbidden, but some radios can allow you to get some very just not allowed music, and it was such a great pleasure. And then it was built inside as well vinyl player, and you can play some vinyl records, and it's just beautiful dream box, and it's main thing.
Aleksandr, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jill. I hope it was interesting, at least for you.
It was very interesting. Thank you very much. If you love this content, please drop a like, consider subscribing, share on social network. It's the best way to help this channel. And we will see you here very soon.